Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello everyone and welcome to the second video in our digital Arabic calligraphy playlist. I am Hamdallah Salama and I am excited to bring you this community service project from International Open University. In this playlist we will explore how to create, design digital Arabic calligraphy using mobile apps. A powerful way to boost your creativity using just your phone. In this video, introduction to Muhtarif Khat, we will cover what it is and the interfaces and tools within the app and the many ways we will be able to use it for calligraphy. Let's get started. First things first, we will open the Muhtarif Khat app. This is what the app looks like when you first open it. It will display all of your previous projects and you will have the option to either click your previously done project or click a newly available one. So I will click new. Once you click new, a drop-down menu will be seen on your screen. There are different options to fill. The first one being design name. I will write example 2 for the design name. It is basically what you name your design. And then after that we have saved sizes. Saved sizes is the option where you are able to browse through the available sizes that have already been saved previously. To be able to get saved sizes, you will have to first click new sizes, where you will then input the design width and the design height of your option. After that, you will click save. And by doing that, you will now be able to have that specific width and height be listed amongst the saved sizes. The last option available is background color. By clicking this, you will see multiple available colors. Now, you can choose whichever you want, but for a blank canvas, especially when you're first starting calligraphy, it is best to just choose white. Regardless, it doesn't really matter much because you'll be able to change these details later, whenever you wish. It is not fixed. So once you've chosen the color you want, click apply. And then click OK. This is an advertisement. The app has ads, so when you have your internet on, it sometimes brings advertisements. Alright, now you will see that we now have a blank canvas. This is basically a blank page for you to do whatever you want. First, most important tool that we have in Muhtarif Khat is the text tool. This one makes it so that you do not necessarily have to start writing everything from scratch. You can just write it here. You write whatever it is that you want in Arabic. For example, now I will write Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Then once I click insert, it will show the writing. It will automatically generate it for you. These are the different fonts that are available. We have Diwan Naskh, like I told you last time, Naskhi, Mishafi Gold and Mishafi Silver. These two are the fonts most commonly used for Quran. And we have Diwan Thuluth, which is Thuluthi, the most commonly used font for calligraphy, Arabic digital calligraphy nowadays. And then we have Diwan Farsi, Wasim Light, Damascus Bold, Farah, Muna Bold, Muna Black, Sana, Basma, Kufi, which is the first most well-known Arabic calligraphy font that I told you about in the first module, Introduction to Digital Arabic Calligraphy. And then we have Kufi Irregular, Baghdad, Beirut, Arab Times, Algiers, Open Sans, and Dancing Script. Open Sans and Dancing Script, on the other hand, are two fonts made specifically for English. And then we have another option. Right next to the tool for fonts, we have sizes. This is where you're able to choose whichever size that you want for your writing. Currently it's 384 and I like it that way. The next option is alignment option, where you are able to tap it 3 times, which will result in different alignments. This is currently left aligned, then center aligned, then right aligned. I prefer center aligned. The last option being spacing. Just leave it at 100%. That is the default and that is the best. You can also choose to preview. Click preview so that you can see what it would look like once it appears on your blank canvas. If there's something you want to change that maybe you dislike, you can then go back and re-edit. Maybe change the font or increase the size from 386 to maybe 600, and then click preview again. It will change to this. But first things first, we'll just stick with Diwan Naskhi because that is the first available font, and 386 since that is the default on my phone. And then we click insert. We now have our first automatically generated Arabic calligraphy. It is very simple and that's normal. Now the first tool / option that you will see after bringing these two words, Alhamdulillah, onto the blank canvas. The first one would be a tool that looks like a big A, a capital letter A, and a small capital letter A. Now this tool, the effect of this tool is to increase the size of the letters on your canvas, or to change the alignment, which is basically what we had done previously. Like I said, none of the editing that you have done previously are fixed. This is what I mean, because you are able to change it as you work on the canvas. This is very, very effective and helps when you start actual calligraphy designs. You'll basically select these boxes at the very bottom, show all of the letters or tashkils or dots, just anything that appears on your canvas. You are able to select them with these boxes and maybe just move them around. As you can see, there are 3 boxes. Why? Single letters that are not connected occupy 1 box. The letters that are connected occupy 1 box. So in this case, alif is not connected to anything, so it occupies its own box. While lihamdu is connected, so it occupies its own box. While lillah also occupies its own box. And then after that, we have the option of style. Now the thing is, the current font is Diwan Naskh, but Diwan Naskh can have other styles as well. There are different styles to each font, and by clicking them you'll be able to see the different styles available. I personally like the first and original style, so we will stick with that. And then after that we have the delete tool. It is signified by a dustbin, trash can icon. That's the icon. So an example would be to select alif and then click that. It deletes it automatically. And then you click undo. You might be noticing that I am clicking 2 buttons at the very top very often. This is the undo and redo button. This is redo and this is undo. So whatever it is that you do, even if you make a mistake, you can always undo and redo. And then we have the next option, which is to move around your letter. Now you might be wondering, what is the usefulness of this effect? It is used to move around the letter in situations where you are unable to do it with your hand. When it gets too much, sometimes when you want to move the letters in very small situations, it's just like very minuscule changes in moving the letters. Sometimes your hands are unable to do something like that, which is where this thing comes into use. It is able to adjust the spaces and the movements of the letter in very tiny ways that you will not be able to do with your hands. You will see the usefulness of it soon. I will show it. And then we have the next option, which is basically flipping. This is where you basically adjust the line. It will flip your letter or whatever it is you had selected, clockwise or anti-clockwise, and there's a degree so you can know how much you have flipped it. And then the final option being coloring. You can select whichever it is that you want to select, and then apply whatever color it is that you want to apply. I'll just choose lavender, light lavender, and click apply. This is what it looks like. And then I'll click Lihamdu, for example, now, and also change the color of that as well. Choose a random color and click apply. And then Lillah as well. Just choose a random color and click apply. Now you can see what they all look like. Very different. And it looks nice. It looks like a gradient. And so these are all the available tools in Ana Muhtarif al Khat to change and edit and alter your calligraphy. Next, we move on to another tool that is extremely useful in Ana Muhtarif al Khat. This one comes into use the most when you are making your own calligraphy from scratch instead of automatically generating one. That's when you click Tashkil. These are collections of fathas, kasras, dhammas, sukoons, shaddas, mads, and those small letters that you can find in the Quran, and the borders and the dots that I mentioned previously in the video of the first module, that basically help you differentiate between different letters. Like a single dot beneath can signify that it is ba, or a single dot above can signify that it is noon, and so on and so forth. And then we have thuluth. Now, like I said previously, thuluth is the most commonly used font for Arabic calligraphy today. So these are the markings that are used specifically for thuluth calligraphy. The dots, the markings, the tashkils, the mads, and so on and so forth. And then we have the letters. This is what alif, thuluthi font alifs look like. It's for ya, alif maksura. This is for ba, ta, and tha. And then this is for dal, dal. Now I am going to show you how one can use these letters and actually apply them on your calligraphy. This is to basically display how useful these things are. For example, now if you do not want to use automatically generated ones because you want to design something unique and different, for example, now let's just click Jim and Khat and Ha, and then choose a random one, for example this one, and click insert. You bring this here, then we go back and we click Alif. We look for a random one, maybe this one, and we click Insert. This is Ha and this is Alif. Let's say now we want to connect them. Right now they are different, they are separate, they are apart, and it doesn't really make that much sense. This is when you will zoom in and adjust it. I have now attached them, but as you can see, it is very clearly not perfect, and it is obvious that it was edited. This is where that tool that I told you previously for adjusting letters in very, very small spaces comes into use. So you select what it is that you want to adjust. As you can see, the space is quite obvious. You will then select what it is that you want to adjust, which is Alif. You zoom in, and then you tap this tool. I want to move it to the right. Tap that a couple of times, move it to the bottom. And there we go. Now it looks seamless and it looks better. Zoom out, and if a person sees this, they would know that you had attached it. Now it looks like it had been there from the very beginning. This is its original state. They wouldn't know that you had basically chosen different parts, different letters, and then attached them together. So this is how digital Arabic calligraphy from scratch, this is how it works. And then we go back to Tashkil. We have the final one I hadn't showed you previously. We have marks, we have letters, and then we have this final one available amongst the thuluth collections. These are basically ligatures. They are stuff like Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Jalla Jalaluhu, those small designs that you can just automatically place onto your calligraphy design instead of having to make them from scratch since they're very tiny. So they were made available for you. For example, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Insert. There you go. You can make it smaller, reduce the size. You can make it bigger. This is fine. Select, move them below, center it, Ha and Alif, move them, center it. Now, there is one area we haven't approached yet. That is in the top left corner of Ana Muhtarif Al Khat app. There is this box with the icon of 3 lines. There are a set of options available. New design. New design is the first option that is shown. This is to basically show that you can click it to start a new design. It will show you a blank canvas automatically. Of course, after you add the name of the design and then the size that you want and then the color. Don't worry, your previous project will not disappear. It will just be saved automatically and placed under your available projects. And then we have open design. You click this if you want to open your previous designs for whatever reason it may be. Maybe to, reference something or to look through them. Then we have merge design. Merge design is basically when you wish to merge two of your projects together. Maybe there's a design in the previous one and this one that you do not want to redo, so you can just merge them together. We also have save design. Save design is obvious to save your design. And then we have show grid. By clicking this, it will automatically show a grid on your blank canvas, on your canvas or your design. This is basically like an inbuilt ruler that will help you move your calligraphy around and situate them in more accurate ways. For example, now Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is supposed to be at the center, but it's not precise. It looks like it's in the center, but it is not really in the center. If you look at this, for example, now at the very right, there are 4 columns of Bismillah. There are 4 columns that are empty, but on the left, there are only 3 columns, which means that it is not precise. So you will move it and you will add it. Zoom in for better precision. Now it is at the very center. Of course, instead of going through this much trouble, you could always just center align. Just click center align to make sure that it stays at the very center. But there are some situations where center align, left align, or right align will not be able to help you. So you will have to use this ruler and grid to make sure that it is very precise. And then another option, of course, if you do not want to see the grid anymore, you can always click hide grid and it removes the grid. After that, we have background color, where you can use it to basically change your background color to something else. For example, change it to black and click apply. It changes the background color to something else. And it looks different. And then we have background image. Background image is if you do not want to use a plain color as your background, you can just simply click background image and it will take you to the file on your phone, which you can then direct to your gallery or somewhere else on your phone where a picture that you want is. So you can then apply that picture onto the background of your calligraphy. And then we have fit to screen. Because our canvas has a size, and you sometimes when you enlarge it too much, you might not be able to de-enlarge it, unenlarge it. So instead of going through all of that trouble, simply click fit to screen and it will fit it back to screen. For example, now if you do this and then click fit to screen, it puts it back in its original state. And then we have actual size, which displays the actual size of the canvas. In this case, usually it is the actual size of a canvas is way bigger than you would expect. This is the actual size of it. It's extremely big, and usually you won't be able to see much. And then we have settings. This is where you'd be able to change the name of your design width, height, UI language, which the only one available is, we have Arabic and Bahasa Indonesia, but that doesn't really matter much. and then exit, which is the one that you can use to exit Ana Muhtarif al Khat after you are done. So first things first, you save the design and then you click exit and then done. We have officially done our first ever calligraphy design. And that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and understood my explanations. Thank you for watching. Join us next time for more lessons on developing your digital design skills. Next up, we will dive into learning how to write Arabic words and adding English to it, and then putting colored backgrounds, like actually putting that effect to use. Basically, Module 3 will be writing Arabic and combining English, which will consist of writing Arabic words clearly and correctly, adding English text alongside Arabic calligraphy, and adding colored backgrounds that actually match. And that is all. Thank you very much, and happy designing. See you next time.